Imagine the journey of a man named Samuel, an ordinary teacher in a small, forgotten town where the smell of chalk and old books mingled with the humid air of crowded classrooms, and the nights were an echoing void of graded papers under the dim light of a solitary lamp, filled with the constant whisper of doubts that kept him awake. A stagnant life, salaries that barely covered the essentials, a marriage worn down by purposeless routines, leaving him lying in a cold bed, the bitter taste of dissatisfaction in his mouth as he murmured to the cracked ceiling, "God, if there is a calling for me, why does my existence feel like an empty echo?" Inspired by real testimonies of ordinary individuals who, like him, felt the weight of mediocrity until discovering a divine purpose that unlocked prosperity. Like those who shared in spiritual retreats about transitioning from meaningless jobs to missions that multiplied financial and spiritual blessings, Samuel found an old journal of his, father's yellowed pages hidden in a box in the basement, revealing a transformative truth. God's calling is not a distant destination, but a personal revelation that changes everything on the spiritual journey, inviting a prosperity that overflows from the Spirit into everyday life, proving that what seems insignificant is the veil God uses to hide an eternal legacy. Have you ever felt like your life was a path with no destination, full of routines that drain you, and wondered if God has a unique calling for you, a revelation that could turn everything upside down in an instant, bringing prosperity that's not just material, but eternal? Imagine discovering this now and seeing your spiritual journey illuminate. What if I told you this revelation is waiting to change you forever? Let's lose ourselves in this labyrinth of discovery together, as if we were descending the creaking stairs of a dark basement by the light of a flickering candle, the air heavy with the smell of mold and stored memories, the shadows dancing on the walls like ghosts of unrealized potential. While I tell you the revelation Samuel has unlocked, a secret not for those content with the ordinary, but for those willing to shed routine, feeling the chill of doubt before the warmth of divine purpose. Feel the wooden step giving way beneath your feet, the distant echo of drips like a clock counting lost time, and imagine Samuel there, kneeling on the dusty floor, the candle's reflection in his tired eyes, his thoughts swirling in a vortex of frustration. Why doesn't my life have any impact? The dilemma squeezing his chest like a rusty chain. Ignore the diary or risk a reading that could dismantle everything. The revelation unfolded slowly, like pages turned by hesitant fingers, whispering that calling begins with sincere seeking, inspired by Jeremiah 29:11. "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, to give you a future and a hope." And Samuel, his hands trembling in the fine dust that rose like mist, felt a shiver run down his spine as he prayed for the first time with true hunger for purpose, the smell of ancient paper mingling with the hot tears that washed away his indifference. But the tension grew like the lengthening shadows because nothing changed immediately. Classes remained monotonous, bills piled up, and a dark doubt whispered, "What if there is no calling for someone like me?" Stay with me, because the next layer of this revelation brings a twist no one sees coming, a break in the pattern that transforms questions into divine insights. The candlelight flickered like a hesitant heart, the scent of melting wax seeping into the confined air, and Samuel, his heart still heavy as the book stacked around him, faced the revelation with a burning intensity, questioning his calling while memories of failure haunted him like echoes in the empty basement. Internal conflict boiled like steam rising from the damp floor, longing to close the diary and return to the safety of routine. But his father's words revealed that calling manifests itself in forgotten gifts, echoing Ephesians 4:1. "I, the prisoner of the Lord, urge you to walk worthy of the calling with which you were called." Samuel whispered to himself, recalling his passion for teaching underprivileged youth, feeling a tremor throughout his body as if an inner voice called him back to life. His thoughts swirled in turmoil. I seek, but what if my calling is too small? The surprise came subtly, like a ray of moonlight seeping through a crack. In a casual class, a student shared a vision that echoed his prayers, not resolving everything, but igniting a spark of direction that illuminated the darkness. The intensity now rose, because the revelation culminated in obedience to the call, inspired by Romans 12:2, "And do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God." And Samuel, smelling the aroma of damp earth rising from the ground like a reminder of deep roots, began a Bible study group for young people, the dilemma pressing, follow the calling or fear failure. You feel that same candle warming your skin now, don't you? That flame of uncertainty threatening to extinguish, questioning whether the calling brings prosperity. But wait, because the twists and turns pile up, a question that will only be unveiled later. What if the revelation doesn't just change the spirit, but unlocks an abundance that God hides in the ordinary? The days unfolded like pages turned with increasing urgency. The basement air now thick with a humidity that felt purifying, and Samuel, his body straighter but his mind still at war with ancient fears, embraced the revelation with a determination that flowed like ink on blank parchment, repeating it in whispered prayers, seeking gifts, obedience. The conflict culminating in moments of testing where rejections from students haunted him like ghosts, wanting to give up but feeling a guiding presence pushing him forward. The pattern break came unexpectedly. By persisting, the group grew like spreading roots, echoing Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. And Samuel saw transformations. Young people finding purpose, donations arriving to expand the program, a prosperity that began on a spiritual journey and spread like light in a dark room. The tension pulsed like the dwindling candle, leading to nights of deep reflection. Lord, is this the change? But twists and turns intertwined. An invitation to speak brought extra income, a marriage revived with shared purpose, an abundance God had hidden in the calling revealed. Do you smell the wax fading, but a new light dawning in your imagination? This is the revelation unfolding, but there is a final surprise that will envelop you, a truth that proves the calling is not a burden, but a divine treasure. What if I told you that Samuel's journey, inspired by real-life accounts of teachers and lay people who discovered their divine calling, such as those who testified in devotional books about purposes that multiply everyday miracles, reveals that God's calling is not a heavy burden, but a revelation that changes everything on the spiritual journey, inviting a prosperity that overflows from the invisible to the visible, transforming the ordinary into an eternal legacy? Do you believe this really happened? And can it happen to you? Have you ever experienced something similar, this all-consuming search for purpose? If this touched you, it's because this video needed to reach you, a divine whisper to discover your calling now. Comment below with your own revelation, share it with someone lost, and subscribe to the channel for more journeys that transform, but only if you have the courage to change everything.